Your favorite oldies on GHT, and it's time for another round of Curtain Call. Let's check in with our orchestra. They are tuning up. And our audience ready to go? Excellent, excellent. Well, joining me on the line is the writer and star of the upcoming Off-Broadway production, Blood Type RAGU, Frank Ingrasciotta. Welcome.
Hi, Teisha. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So Blood Type RAGU, it's about a Hungarian family, I gather? That's funny.
That's very funny.
No.
Well, it could be, actually, because it has a universal thread.
Indeed.
So it could be about anybody's family,
well,
but it is about an Italian family.
Thank you for laughing, because I worked on that for a while. I appreciate it. So what inspired you to create this one-man show?
Well, Teisha, I had these stories that I would always recount to my friends, and they kept saying to me, oh, you know, you should really put this into a performance piece or write a book about it. And then when I got married on my honeymoon, I had this profound experience happen to me where I reconnected to my Sicilian roots by going back to Italy after 29 years, because I was there as a boy. And a very profound experience happened to me when I went there by reconnecting to my roots. And I found the through lines of the piece, and then I said, I have something I think that may be worthwhile, and I wrote it, and here it is.
Tell us what it was like growing up in your family.
Well, in my family, it was very emotional, as Mediterranean cultures could be. It was very, and then there was also, you know, a lot of love there because of, because of the ties to family, and it was a lot of food, you know, around, and it was, I mean, it was a mixed bag of goods. It was volatile, and it was also very loving.
Well, that's what I love about just watching some of the clips off of your website, is that it's clear that although it's funny and entertaining, and perhaps you're, you know, making light of or just characterizing things in an entertaining way, it's very clear that you come from a genuine place of affection for these people.
Yes, yes. It's not about stereotypes.
Yeah.
I really try to give a fullness and levels to the characters I play, which are, you know, my parents, my neighbors. Yeah, I try to do that, and I hope it shows.
It does.
I believe it shows.
Yeah. Let's play. This is a little piece of audio. This is your dad answering the phone.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Dentro del maiolino. Hello? Hello, is Frank there? Frangino home! Oh, could you please take a message? Could you tell him? Dad, did anybody call while I was out? Yeah, somebody called it. Who? I think it was your friend, that Angidoro. Angidoro? Well, but I don't know an Angidoro. But that's what I think, Angidoro. Well, it took me 3 weeks to figure out that Angidoro was my friend, Herbie Dowdle. Help! Wanted. First-generation adolescent child needed to fill position of translator in Sicilian household. No benefits or hope for advancement.
That's great. I love that. That's great. Have any of your family members been to see the show? I imagine. I know the show has been done all across the country in regional theaters.
Right. Yes, yes. Well, actually, my brother and sister have. My brother's a big fan of the show. He brings all his friends. My sister took her a while, you know, but now she's coming around. She's a big fan of the show as well. Because, you know, of course, their story, they live the story with me.
Sure.
But I love that clip because it really shows the plight of the immigrant child and what an immigrant child has to go through growing up between two cultures, the culture at home and the one in their outside world.
Yeah, it's very, very funny and very relatable.
Yeah.
How challenging is it to be the only actor on stage and not only carry an entire show, but portray each of these characters one after the other oftentimes? It has to be difficult, to say the least.
There's challenges. You know, you really have to take care of your voice. You have to take care of your body. You have to pace yourself for an 8-show-a-week schedule. Because, you know, I'm up there really carrying 20 characters by myself for 80 minutes. I kind of see the show as a musical, even though it's not, because there is a rhythm. And each character has to be specific and clear, and I have a great director by the name of Ted Sod who's taken me through that. And, you know, so this way the audience knows exactly who's the character as soon as I turn into it, you know.
And you hear from the audience reaction that people they love it. And as you said, regardless of whether you're Italian or from whatever background you come from, we all have drama. We all have, you know, that family drama that we can totally relate to.
Right. Well, it's, you know, our subtitle is, it's not drama, it's just family. We all have one. It's really, it's just about family, culture, and heritage. And I have done it all, you know, I've done it all around the country, and, you know, to many different kinds of cultures and people, and, you know, they seem to be very in tune with it.
Speaking of drama, this is your Nonna, your grandmother, at
Yes.
Her husband's funeral?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
We arrived to the burial site. Il a morte me just in super to death. Take me now. Put me with my husband. Nonna takes a flying leap into the grave. Grave jumping was a well-known Olympic sport in Sicily. No one flinches as they boomerang her back.
It's very funny.
Oh, boy. When I was a boy, my mother took me to Sicily at the age of 7, and I was just like a sponge absorbing like a whole different culture, because even though they were from there, I had never been there. And 2 days after I got there, my grandfather had passed away unexpectedly.
Oh.
So I was exposed to a whole nother experience and being introduced to death in a whole different way, you know, the way, you know, it was experienced at that time there, you know.
Well, it's an interesting thing with cultures that are more, let's say, dramatic or emotional. Sometimes it's almost better because, like you're talking about death and a funeral, you really experience it rather than people trying to repress what happened. I mean, your grandmother leaping into the grave, it's a little much, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Actually, you know, in these days, it's still going on, and you know, maybe as an Italian culture, we've evolved a bit, but it's still happening in other cultures, you know, as well, that kind of push-pull kind of thing of what goes on being a first-generation child.
Yeah.
You know?
So the show is premiering Off-Broadway. As I mentioned, it's been doing incredibly well all across the country, but this is your Off-Broadway premiere. How does that feel? Is the pressure?
I'm very, very excited and feel truly blessed to be able to, I feel so honored to be able to share the story in this way, you know. So it's an honor.
It's wonderful. Now, you have a bunch of stage and TV credits. I actually wanted to ask you, though, about, I was reading that at the beginning of your career, you were actually stage manager for the original Off-Broadway production of Godspell?
Yes, when I was a teenager,
wow.
I was a stage manager when it played at the Cherry Lane Theater and the Promenade Theater. I was much too young for the job, but they kind of took pity on a kid who really loved theater and was passionate about it, and so that was great.
It must have been exciting to be part of that, yeah. Now, okay, I have you on the phone, so I have to ask you, because there's this great debate, since the show is called Blood Type RAGU, and RAGU is also, and my office manager, Carmela, helped me with this, RAGU is also a Sunday sauce with meat and lamb and things like that?
That's right, yes,
okay.
Yes.
So she suggested this, that you end this debate once and for all. What is sauce and what is gravy?
Well, I think gravy, I mean, my take on it is great. It's the same thing from what I understand. I just think it's just a more Americanized version of saying it. Every culture, I mean, within Italy, there's one culture, but then there are subcultures. So every region has their own way of defining the sauce. You know, so where my family came from, which was Mazzara del Vallo in Sicily, they called it ragu. You know, but some people call it salsa. And then I think that the gravy is just more an Americanized version of saying it.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you so much.
At least that's my take on it.
Hey, that works for me. Blood Type RAGU makes its Off-Broadway debut at the newly restored Actors Playhouse. Very exciting. In Greenwich Village. It's a great location, 107th Avenue South. You can check out bloodtyperagu.com or go to smarttix.com for ticket information. And if you listen, coming up next, we'll give away a pair of tickets to go see Frank in this wonderfully entertaining, genuinely touching show. GHT Radio, another round of curtain call. Performances begin February the 20th, which is right around the corner. Opening night is March the 5th. Frank, thank you so much. Break a leg.
Teisha, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
For me as well. All righty, curtain call, and your chance coming up next to win tickets to go see Blood Type RAGU on GHT.